when he made that statement, I thought it was pretty over the top. Now, if you apply that standard to him, he should have gone a long time ago. If he had gone on vacation when he got sworn in as president, he would be doing far better than he is today, because Afghanistan would not be the debacle it is today, because we had troops in Afghanistan watching the terrorists. The border was at a 45-year low when he was sworn in terms of illegal crossings. You had a vaccine available to America and the world. Rampant inflation didn't exist. He has turned every situation he's touched into complete chaos, and under his own standard, he should leave. I have said on your show, and I will say it again, as Commander-in-Chief, he was derelict in his duties in allowing the chaos in Afghanistan to come about. He withdrew without a plan. He hasn't secured the border, and I think he deserves to be impeached based on what he did in Afghanistan alone.
You know, I want to talk a little bit, explore that a little bit further. So 2022 is less than a year away. All the intents and purposes looks like the House will be strongly Republican, which means they can bring impeachment proceedings. They can impeach the president in the House. What are your feelings about Republicans holding the Senate and therefore confirming an impeachment next year? Do you think that's a possibility?
Well, number one, let's start with the idea of taking back the House. I want to take back the House for a lot of reasons. Number one, to stop this socialist train. This Build Back Better bill is a complete fraud. I'll have a score from the Congressional Budget Office a week from tomorrow that will show that this bill, I think, is far more expensive than Democrats have been claimed because of the budget gimmicks. But yes, if you're looking, you got a January 6th committee. They've got every kind of committee in the world. They didn't have any committees when it was the riots throughout America, when you had the Portland courthouse being burned and when you had Chicago and New York City basically in flames. So if I were in the next House of Representatives, I'd want to look long and hard at dereliction of duty. How did this happen? Did Joe Biden, as Commander-in-Chief, was he derelict in his duties when he withdrew our forces from Afghanistan? So that's something to look at. In terms of the Senate, Eric, if we could pick up one more senator and we were in charge of the Senate, I would be the Budget Committee chairman, not Bernie Sanders. That's a pretty good trade. So get out and vote in 2022.
Yeah, no question about it. So let me see, what is the inside baseball on? I think the common zeitgeist is that the Republicans will hold the House. I mean, in D.C., do you guys, does your caucus believe there will be a Republican-held Senate? Will it be Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell again?
Well, we'll see about who's the majority leader, but let's look at the map. There are two sets of threes. There's Arizona, there's Georgia, and New Hampshire. These are three states with incumbent Democrats in their first term that we can win if we get the right candidate. Herschel Walker is the right fit for Georgia. Herschel is going to do exceedingly well. He's a rock star in Georgia. He's a solid fiscal social conservative. In New Hampshire, we've got a couple of people I think that could run and win up there. Arizona, we got a lot of good talent on the field in Arizona. You got a broken border, and Mark Kelly, the incumbent Democrat, is going to own this chaos along the border. Then you got Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and New York, where we're sort of on the defensive. I feel great about North Carolina. I meant North Carolina, not New York. I feel great about North Carolina. I think Biden is in the toilet in North Carolina. I hope Ron Johnson runs in Wisconsin. And boy, do we have some talent in Pennsylvania. Dr. Oz just announced there may be more people coming to the race in Pennsylvania. But Dr. Oz is a well-known national figure. The fact that he wants to run as Republican is good for the Republican Party. So I'm very bullish on our chances in the U.S. Senate. And what does it mean if we take back the Senate? That we'll have more say about judges and we'll be in charge of the committees. Again, Bernie Sanders won't be the budget chairman. I'll be the budget chairman, and this Build Back Better would never see the light of day. If I were the budget committee chairman, there would be no Build Back Better.